All right, ladies, today is the day.
What day?
It's the day that we are going to actually have some mindful meditation.
We are?
We are. Today's guest is my former teacher and an MBSR guru educator. Her name is Cassie, and I'm so excited for all of you to experience how amazing she is and how simply she breaks down what mindfulness is and how we can all do it.
I'm excited about this.
I am too, but I have to be honest, and I'm debating if I even tell her or not when we talk to her in a moment. The days leading up to this wonderful day of mindfulness we're about to have been so chaotic for me.
Yes.
It's
Same.
It's like
Yes.
the universe was just trying to stop me from being present and non-judgmental in my presentness. As you know, my internet went down. We fixed it now for a couple of days. Last night, my son knocked my computer off my nightstand.
Oh, no.
And I got locked out of my computer, which you know is like my life.
Oh my gosh.
I was locked out of my computer until this morning, and Brian thought for sure we were going to have to take it in to get fixed. But it turned out somehow it magically, as we sat down to record this episode, the computer turned back on.
Thank goodness.
Because I didn't know I was going to be on my phone or something for this episode. I was like, okay, what is the universe telling me? But did you guys notice this week was a little more chaotic than normal? I don't know if it was just me or it was something in the universe.
It's definitely chaotic. Today was Jackson's last day of school.
Oh, yeah. You guys get out earlier than us.
So
That's
this
right.
week has been filled with final exams and getting out of school half day early and just all the normal craziness of the end of the school year. So he actually just walked in the door about an hour ago. So we are good until next year.
Oh, so you're now officially in summer. You know,
Yes.
it's crazy because this May-Cember thing, I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but it really ramped up this week.
Yes.
I was like, hey guys, there's April and there's June. Can we split it up a little bit? Like May is too packed.
It's too
May-Cember
much.
is real. It's a real thing.
It's too much.
There's
it's way
something
too
every
much.
day. Every single day
something
with
every
these
day.
kids that we have to do. One of them has tomorrow and it's a half day. And then one of them, the pre-K, has Friday, that's a half day. And then you've got work. And it does feel like everyone has just completely lost their mind this week. And I'm nervous about today's episode because I feel like I'm going to fail at this.
You can't fail. You need to tell her.
You can't fail at this.
Okay.
Thank you for being honest, Jennie. But like I'm telling you right now, and you need to tell Cassie, you cannot fail when you're attempting mindfulness because it literally is just us realizing how to be present without judgment in a moment. And there's all different ways to do it. But you will not fail and you cannot fail. There is no failure here. We are not getting graded. Unlike our kids in their last of the end of year tests are having right now.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
I feel like we need gross mindfulness right now.
That drama's about to end, 'cause gross. Stop asking for a friend, taboos. Ick is what we do, just science. Yeah, it's not so weird. Your gross out journey starts right here on Oh Gross.
Mindful meditation.
Yes.
What I started thinking about to sort of reflect upon is that we have to work hard at so many things. Hopefully, by the end of this episode and everyone listening, we won't think that we have to work hard at mindfulness, right?
Right.
That's sort of the goal because I was like panicking. I mean, and then I kept catching myself being like, I'm panicking about an episode that has to do with being present.
Me too. My eye's been twitching too all week. And I know it's stress. And I'm like, we're going to have an episode on mindfulness and I can't get my eye to stop twitching. And I'm like, oh,
You know, but
I'm grateful for this episode.
Yeah. It's good. I think we all need it. But I also think it goes back to what we've done with a lot of our guests. We've heard from a lot of our guests, and I mean, even just Shauna last week, is that even though she's a financial expert, she went through a time where she didn't look at her receipts, right, from the ATM. And I think everyone we've had on the show thus far has a story like that.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't supposed to be like we're all perfect at everything all the time. These tools will help us be less stressed if we stop putting pressure on ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we can't be cookie cutter. You know, nobody's day is a cookie cutter day. And so, you know, it's great if we can have these little nuggets of information that you can kind of personalize to your own day or what you're going through.
Yeah, and it's different for everyone, you know? It's funny because you guys get out of school early, but here in California, it's like we have never ending days off at the end of the year. And we're like, why don't we just like get out earlier? Like she's got a 4-day
Right.
weekend this weekend. She's got a 3-day weekend next weekend. And it's like, then you got to worry about what to do with them. So we have all these like balls up in the air as we enter summer, right? That it's a really good time to take a deep breath and say, okay, how can I enjoy summer more? Because I'm more present. Right?
Right.
How can I enjoy these moments with our kids being home, even though we're all like, oh no, they're going to be home.
Right. Well, Jennie took her kids to the pool last weekend. So
Already? Oh, wow.
They had a pool party.
They went to the
So
pool
that was
every day
exciting.
through the weekend, and they were worn out, and we were worn out, but it was nice. And
I love a pool with wear
I
out.
did actually try to be mindful and present as much as I could. I have to admit, I think that for me, this is a much needed episode because I know I need help with this.
Yeah, and we all do.
We all do.
I think today is going to be so great because we get to have a 2-part conversation with Cassie. And the first part's going to be just about mindfulness, the stigmas around it, like why people misunderstand what it really is. And she's going to break down for us what it is and it is not. And on top of that, our part 2 conversation with her that will air the following week is going to all be about how we can practice this in our everyday lives, like the specific tools. And guess what?
What?
She's going to guide us in a meditation.
I'm excited.
Yeah, for part 2. And she is just so wonderful at how she approaches this that I guarantee you will no longer be afraid of it. And
Okay.
you will no longer, most importantly, be judging yourself. So with that, let's jump in to this episode. What do you think, girls?
I'm excited.
Yay!
Yes.
And now, without further ado, we should bring Cassie on and we can all learn a little bit more about what it means to be mindful and the concept of mindfulness.
Hello.
Hi, Cassie. So good to see you.
Hi. And hi, Molly. And hi, Jennie. I haven't met you.
It's nice to meet
Hi,
you.
Cassie. Nice to meet you.
But you too.
We are very excited about today. And as we've already introduced you, and I know you're here now, but I'm going to say it again. Cassie, I have been so blessed to not only take your class and training, but also to have been taking one of your workshops and just have you in my life. And you just flipped the script for me on mindfulness. So I'm so excited for everyone else to get a little piece of that and just understand the concept of what being mindful is. And you are just a wonderful human and teacher and educator.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. My heart is full. That's a good way to start.
So I think what we were talking about and discussing before in previous episodes is that everyone sort of has this idea of what being mindful is. And I know that Jennie has some thoughts she wanted to share about like where her sort of struggle has been. And I told her, be honest with Cassie, this will be great. Like where you're struggling with your idea of mindfulness.
I will admit that it scares me. The concept scares me because I am a business owner and I'm in that mindset where I feel like if I'm not working, I'm failing. And if I try to be present or do anything for myself, that I'm failing at my job or my employees. And then I also have tried to be mindful. For example, when I'm driving down the road and looking at the scenery as I'm going by and trying to just take in the beauty of what I'm seeing and be present, even if it's in the drive to de-stress. I feel like I fail at being mindful because my mind just wanders. And I wonder, is there something wrong with my brain that it's just all over the place? Is one side not working? You know, are they not working together the way they should? And I'm a scientist. So, you know, I've literally thought, is one side of my brain malfunctioning? Is there something wrong with me? Or is there so much going on in here that I just cannot focus on one thing? Help me because I feel like I'm a failure at mindfulness.
Wow. Tara probably recognizes some of the lines that you just so sweetly expressed and authentically expressed are expressed during this 8-week program that Kara took with me. Your condition, Jennie, is that you are human. So there you go. And you have a nervous system, and your nervous system reacts to some of the conditions that you just expressed in your life, being a business owner, co-business owner, and all of the things that are on your plate. I have to start with this. You cannot fail at mindfulness.
Okay.
You already are aware. Mindfulness is awareness. So you are very aware, or else you would not be even on this podcast today. So you have had to be aware of where you are in space and getting yourself to this place in this moment. And what's going on, I'm going to say unfortunately, because we are a culture of overload.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We're fed so much information every single day that for us to think that being mindful means to turn that off is really misleading. And you're going to judge yourself harshly as a failure if you think that suddenly you go into this place of Zen, floating through my life. And this is just not the way it is. And this is also why it's a practice. So what you offered so far was so genuine. And I know so many people relate to it. And what I have to say about it is it's so much simpler than what people think. Mindfulness isn't getting rid of your thoughts. It's paying attention to what they are. It's becoming aware of where you spend most of your time. I'm going to throw this out there. The reason for mindfulness practice is because most of the time we are rehashing the past,
Yep.
rehearsing the future. So little of our time is right here in this moment. Hey, by the way, this moment right here, it's not always super great. It's not always, unicorns and puffy clouds.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's real, but oftentimes we're exacerbating this moment with stuff that's not even in it.
Right.
Right.
So there are practices and there are tips and there are things that you and all of the listeners will be able to begin to do immediately after listening today that are baby steps toward becoming more mindful in one's life.
And so sorry. I had to shut this off. I got the new iPhone and it did that. So sorry.
That's
I was
okay.
to add to talk about mindfulness. My phone just went off. What I was also going to add, Jennie, is when I took the 8-week program and you hear you're leading up to basically a silent retreat.
Right.
Now, you know me.
Yes.
And I pretty much talk for a living.
Yes.
Right. And I'm always questioning and, as you know, constantly researching and I'm down that rabbit hole. And I work like you 16 hours a day. I had so much anxiety leading up to this idea of this silent retreat. Like, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? And when I tell you, it was so amazing and transformative I don't know if it was more like, yay, I did it, like what I felt inside, but the fact that I was even complicating the idea of what it meant to be present for the whole day and be silent. In my head, it was like, I'm going to want to talk and I'm not going to be able to talk and all these things. And what it really was about was, oh my gosh, I just got a vacation from my crazy busy brain to really recognize things. And I have to share one story to kick this off because I know Cassie knows it and you girls don't. So you have to go walk silently, right, outside as part of this. If you want to have a partner or someone in your house join you because you have to, because that's what you're doing, there's just no talking. So Brian thought it was fun and he was like, I'm going to join. And we silently walked outside. This is during COVID when all the animals in wilderness are out in their heyday. So we had just moved into this neighborhood in the hills. And all of a sudden, as we're walking, across comes at first what I think is a baby bobcat, which would be scary enough. And it turns out, oh yes, it was a baby mountain lion.
Oh
my gosh.
And you're not supposed to talk.
So Brian and I freeze and we are looking at each other and I'm trying not to like do sign language because you really are trying to be present. And we both look at this baby mountain lion like, we recognize you're here. Like we're saying with our eyes, it's okay. And it looks at us and we're both thinking the same thing, even though we're not saying it out loud because we talked about it later when the day was done. Literally like, where's mama mountain lion if baby mountain lion is here, right?
Right.
But the mountain lion passed and we kept walking and I had this feeling come over me. I can't explain it where I was like, oh my gosh, I just like without talking, we had this moment, me and this baby mountain lion and Brian that did not require words. And I know it sounds crazy, but I couldn't wait to share it when we get back because you get to share it with, the group. But that moment, I tell people that all the time that I realized fear could have taken over. All these things could have taken over. Instead, I had this beautiful experience with a mountain lion.
That's amazing.
On my street.
That's amazing. It makes me think of something to ask Cassie too, because one of the reasons I have felt like I'm a failure at mindfulness also is the baby mountain lion made me think of this. When it comes to my babies, my kids, I feel like I can be present and I try to savor moments, but when it comes to myself, that's when I can't. I know, Carrie, you've got to relate to that too, and Molly. So
Yeah, it's hard as a mom.
it's really hard.
Yep. And I'm a mom of two very grown kids in their 30s. And it is a beautiful thing, actually, that moms take that stance, right? That first I take care of you and then I take care of myself. And oftentimes we do forget the I take care of myself part, and that I can take care of you so much better if I am actually rested and fed.
Yes.
And literally and figuratively, I'm saying
Yes.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And can I just loop back to something you said too, Jennie, about I've wondered if, something's wrong with my brain. Well, part of what I hope we can touch on while we're together today is this concept that where science meets Buddhism, let's just call it that, neuroscience, is that truly there are parts to the brain that one will inhabit more than the other.
Mm-hmm.
And not to ruin the plot, but really we're so addicted to our left brain, thinking, interpreter, planner, comparer, judger, all of that. And really the right brain, which by the way, is what gets strengthened with meditation and mindfulness, is the place of more spaciousness, see the big picture, don't react as, harshly. And so it's all tied together. I'm so excited over the last year to have begun to plug those two things together and talk about it a little bit more, because people like you, Jennie, and so many of us will automatically think there's something wrong with me because I can't do this thing that some of my friends are doing, and they just seem like they're so happy and calm and all those kinds of things. Well, we can't change and remove the stressors in our lives, but we absolutely can change the way that they are interpreted by us and taken in and processed and then felt in the nervous system. And again, I think it's so simple. It's simple in concept. It's not simple to do. That's why we practice. Practice. And I can't tell you how many people, former students or just people that I know that I meditate and everything. And the first thing that they say to me, oh my gosh, Cassie, hi, I'm not meditating. I just can't.
I would say, thank you, Cassie. Let's meditate.
Yeah. Anyway, I just turned, what did I just turn? 67. And I was trained in transcendental meditation not to teach it, just to do it when I was 17 years old.
Oh, that's
Wow.
amazing.
Amazing.
It's really been a long time.
Wow. I didn't know you did that so young. I did it when I was like 37.
Yeah. I am the youngest of 7 kids, and our dad passed away when I was 12. And 5 out of 7 of us, we had still do have a really cool brother that said, we need to do something together to help us get through this. And so he took us to this course, and we learned very early on how to meditate. And transcendental meditation is a completely different thing than mindfulness practice. But that's one point for today as well, is there are many ways to enter this space. And one must, find the way that is most appealing to you so that you actually do end up practicing.
And liking it and enjoying it and finding the one that fits for you. Because it's true, like body scans, I mean, some people love them. And for me, it's like, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it.
Right.
Well, and anyone can do this, correct? It's, it's not just limited to a certain group of people. This is for everybody.
Absolutely. When people ask me, who does this benefit most? I would say anybody with a nervous system.
Right.
And a brain.
And a brain.
Just a brain and a nervous system. And, who is breathing.
Who's breathing?
Because we are all experiencing really different circumstances, but really the same thing throughout our day. Lots of gotchas are coming at us all day long. And our nervous system is unfortunately trained to be very reactive when things happen. And sometimes we don't have the time to recover in between each one of those assaults. Of course, we stop and meditate, which is a good thing to do. And one piles on to another, and pretty soon we're chronically stressed.
And also the digital age we live in has made it nearly impossible because people expect you to text back right away. They expect you to answer right away. You're not face to face with somebody to really get a sense of where their headspace was when they made that comment or they asked for that thing. And it just keeps piling on in a way where you feel like I have so much to do and I can't get it done, you know?
Yeah. Can I just add to this thing about the body? And the reason that I'm in this world doing what I am doing is because I worked so hard and never stopped and had all kinds of probably non-healthy habits that at age 39, my nervous system just exploded into what ended up being a diagnosis of MS. Multiple sclerosis means many scars. And that's the only way that they're able to see that is they're able to actually test for that with an MRI in the brain. I like to think of MS as standing for many signs. I was given a plethora, if you will, of signs along the way to pause, to sleep more, to eat better, to drink less, to do the things that I was doing at 100 miles an hour. And I'm going to fast forward and say, I live really well, really well. And I have not had MS exacerbations in years and years. And it is what brought me to this path.
I love that you said that. I think it's so important because bringing the health factor into it.
Yes.
So I think it's really important because I personally, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners, we abuse our nervous systems and in effect abusing our brains. And I remember in school learning, the left is your logic and the right is your creativity of your head, of your brain. And I think that if we don't take this time to detox our brains, literally, that we're going to get sick and we're going to be overloaded and we're not going to be able to really fully be present or enjoy life. There's just so many different factors. And so I love that you said this.
I want to throw something in there about the 8-week course. I just want to make this clear for people. I'm a certified instructor for MBSR, which stands for Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction. And I am retired, semi-retired. I still do things like this, and I teach some live, retreats. And so I no longer teach the 8-week online or live course. And having said that, there are plenty of wonderful teachers out there. And it isn't something that everyone needs to dive into. Kara can tell you, it is not easy to get through this multi-week course being asked to do what you're asked to do, which is pay attention to your life.
Right.
In every bucket of your life that we suggest that you pay attention to, and then notice what your operating system is like in your life, and also take note of what creates higher stress and cortisol levels for you. Where is that? When does it happen? How do you currently cope with that? Or don't you? Or do you escape from it? Let me just lead up to this for a second. There are formal and informal ways of practicing mindfulness. Formal ways are awareness of breath and a mindful check-in. Take note, everyone, these are 2 little takeaways that you can begin doing right away. Informal ways of practicing mindfulness is I'm brushing my teeth. I'm brushing my teeth. I can taste that toothpaste.
I got them to try to do it with me.
We did.
Brush their teeth.
We did.
I tried to get them to mindfully brush with me just to feel with their vibrating toothbrushes.
Yeah. I mean, the things that we do habitually, we are the least mindful.
Yeah.
Taking a shower. It's like, oh, did I already wash my hair? I don't even remember, because you're in the shower and your mind is every place else but in that shower, right? So, okay.
Yeah.
Don't get too far afield here, Cassie. It's beneficial for so many people for so many reasons, practicing mindfulness. But it's not, a miracle. Can you just read about mindfulness and meditation and have it have the same effects as doing it? No. You have to practice, even if most of your practice is informal, like just stopping every once in a while, or before you go into a meeting, stopping and just gathering everything that you can tell about yourself right now, and then enter that space being the most present participant you can be. Instead of dragging whatever information you just took out of another meeting with you, come into this one a little bit fresh. There's just simple techniques.
Or even 4 minutes a day, like you said, if that's what you got.
Yeah. Just
Yep.
everything, it's like a bank account. Everything just sort of, you keep making deposits, and then pretty much it starts off, you know what, I should meditate. And then it's like, oh, yeah, I'll meditate. And then it's like you get to a point in your life where I meditate. This is what I do.
Yeah.
It's not,
Right.
that isn't a choice. Everybody in my family, in my life knows, mom or honey or whoever I am to these people is meditating right now.
And I think a big thing too to just hit on is the idea when we say not judging, right? Being present without judgment. It's also judgment and assumptions are tied together. So that word judgment can be so layered. It's not just judging ourselves or judging others. When we make assumptions, like you were talking about with your job, when we make the assumption that they're not going to respect our boundaries, right? We're already doing a disservice for ourselves and we're judging the moment before it's even happened. Right. And I think that that's a big thing. Like we live in a society where we're assuming things so much that we don't even try.
Right.
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 And it's lifting that idea away. And there are no assumptions. There are no judgment. Let's just see what happens. And what's the worst case scenario? Right. What's the worst case scenario? Either it plays out the way you thought it was going to play out because you've already played it out in your head, or your whole life changes and it's an alternate path, to throw back to Cassie's.
Right.
You're right. You would assume that you cannot change a certain thing until maybe you were forced to try. So why not just place yourself in a place of priority enough that you do structure the things or restructure the things that are going to support your wellness. It's
Your
all
wellness.
about that.
Right.
It's all about that.
So I want to ask you one really important question.
Yes.
Why do you think people have a misconception about mindfulness? Like, where do you think that comes from, that so many people think, I can't do this, this is not for me, and they don't really understand the word? Because I know, Gross, we try to really dive into where has this stigma come across these things in life. And I think mindfulness does have this weird stigma for some people that it's something that's not for them or they can't do.
Yeah, thanks. That's a really great question. And I think it has a few answers, but one of them is that mindfulness in itself, that word, and meditation truly carries with it this woo-woo effect. And a lot of people, they've already pre-labeled themselves as just down to earth or whatever their label is for themselves, but that might be good for other people, but that's not who I am. That's not what I do. There's no mysticism to mindfulness. In fact, it's probably the most natural thing that one could possibly do, is to just take their attention from wherever it's spinning out and just gently bring it back to right here. There's nothing, fancy about all that. It's not tied to religion. You don't have to step away from any of your current beliefs. Yes, it's true that Buddhism laid the foundation for many of the principles in mindfulness, but in the course, none of that is discussed, really. It's just more about the science behind it and the actual steps to do it. I also think that people a long time ago, when meditation was being taught, maybe you've experienced this, the three of you, it was taught like, okay, now close your eyes. Now let your thoughts go.
Right.
This is step 2, right? Is make your mind a blank slate. Well, it isn't blank because you're imagining a blank slate.
Get rid of the monkey mind, right? Get rid of your monkey mind.
Maybe a whiteboard with no writing on it. So I think that we did it a little disservice back when people's expectation about meditation and mindfulness is that I have to make it into this zone that might be scary. I know I can't do it because I know I can't erase all the thoughts that are coming into my mind. Yes, monkey mind on a very, very regular basis. And so people automatically, because they don't, this is, I think, key, I'm thinking it right now, is that people don't want to fail at yet another thing.
Right. Yes.
They don't want to
Yes.
say, I'm a bad meditator.
Right.
Mhm.
But you can't fail at
No,
this. You
But
can't.
there is a misconception around it.
Yeah.
I remember when I took yoga in my 20s, I would lie to everyone when we would do the meditation workshops. They're like, what's that? I was like, totally. For the first time ever, I didn't think about anything. I literally.
We know you're lying about that.
Me and my friend Tess would go to these workshops and I was like, totally. I didn't think about anything. I was thinking about everything from what I was going to eat that day to what I had to get done the whole 45 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a little difference between, transcendental meditation is you use a mantra, it's prescribed to you, and the word itself is vibrational in nature.
Which worked for me better.
I actually love it and still do it.
Yeah.
And it takes your nervous system down to levels where transcendental meditation means transcendence of thought.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean that you're not thinking, but it means that your mind is at a place probably before that thought registers. Okay, but erase that. That's tough. That's a tough thing to do in the long run. It takes years and years. Mindfulness, on the other hand, is about being awake and alert. Maybe your eyes are closed in the present moment, observing exactly what's happening and exactly what's happening maybe in relationship to the sensations in the body that are happening from what's happening in the mind. When you take your car in for maintenance, you can't just say, do everything you need to do, but please don't open the hood. Just leave that.
Right.
You have to be willing to open it up, and you have to be willing, or you want to invite yourself to say, why is it that I get into these mind traps? What is it that I'm thinking over and over again, a repetitive thought that just happens, so many times a day? Why is it that I relate to this person in this particular way and that doesn't happen over here? These are the kind of things that you can become aware of when you observe, sit back in your lazy boy rocker and observe your operating system. I've realized so many things about myself, about the way that I communicate, like with a particular family member who has said I was slightly judging. No, I'm not. And then I started to actually pay attention. I'm like, oh, yes, I am. I didn't even mean to do it. Was doing it,
Right.
I thought, in a loving way.
Right.
This is our opportunity. With everything that's going on, there's a simplicity and a place that you can go that maybe you close your eyes for and maybe you just lower them. It's a gift that you give yourself. The present is a present that you give yourself. Every time you do, whether it's 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or you go on these multi-day silent retreats, which, I've made it up to 12 full days. Wow. And I talk. You can hear that.
Wow. 12 days without talking?
Or anything.
Wow.
No electronics, no anything. And let me tell you, you get a glimpse into the things that inhabit your mind.
I bet.
I would love 12 days without electronics, actually.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good.
Yeah, in fact, Molly, it's a good idea, and I'll say this to you and to anyone listening, it's a good idea to work your way up in these silent retreats, like here in Northern California, Spirit Rock, and there's different places to go. And I find that it might be too overwhelming for people. I think they have 2-day retreats, 5-day retreats. It's nice to work your way up if you haven't done it, because it's a shock.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all you do is go through different forms of meditation all day up until the night. Oh gosh, it's something else. I love it. And you come back out and your heart is so open and you're so calm that you drive away and you're doing 35 in the fast lane.
Because you're so chill.
Yeah.
Even just starting with a sunset hour with your cell phone. There's a time when your electronics are off and that's it. And just being present and realizing how much at first that makes you worried, annoyed, right? Your mind is wandering. And then every day you do it. And then eventually you're looking forward to shutting your electronic off and having a sunset hour. Because I think just even starting out slowly in our house every day, how can we really disconnect ourselves from this digital world, right? For enough that we recognize how it was affecting our nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself permission.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal. It's like it's okay if you do this. After the MS came on very strongly in my life, I had to restructure. I was a national sales manager. I traveled all over. My life was insane. And I had 2 little kids. I had to restructure, give myself permission to have my work look differently. I had to talk to them and say, I won't be able to do this national thing. I will be able to do this and I'll do that. And guess what? I would have never thought anybody would have gone for that. And they did. But we don't understand that we can create boundaries. We can ask permission. We don't ask permission of others so much, but we ask permission of ourselves to give ourselves these gifts. It's so worth it. The payback is so big. One of the resources I'm going to provide for you is my site, mindyourmoments.com. And on there, on the practice page, for free, is every kind of meditation I've guided. And they're all different time lengths. Some are 2 minutes and some are 45 minutes. And some.
So we can listen to you do it?
Yeah.
Yay! Because I want to hear you.
Yeah. No, she's wonderful. I know.
I want to hear you. Yeah.
Some of the students, remember, Kara, they say, Cassie, I don't know if you know, but I love your voice. You know.
Yes, I love it.
You got to hear the rest of it because it sounds like I'm patting myself on the back too much. I said, and they say, you really put me to sleep at night. And I was like, I put my husband to sleep every time our conversation goes more than 2 sentences. My voice or what it is. But that is a resource, mindyourmoments.com. And like I said, I'm a retired, keep my foot in the mindfulness world for the rest of my entire life person. And I want to share. That's why I'm here today, because I want to share with you. We wanted to say what mindfulness is not. It is not an overnight cure. I don't want to suggest to people that might have MS diagnosis or even symptoms now that it is an absolute cure. I made choices for me. I did not use medication. I used meditation and a ton of other lifestyle changes, like less than a bottle of Chardonnay a day. Who knew? That would help.
Right. No. I mean, Brian did the same. He meditated a lot during his journey with cancer, but he made massive lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
It was a job. And you treated this as a job as well, like to literally adjust your life and understand my primary job right now is to take care of me.
Is to heal. And I have little kids, 10 and 12. So it was, if mom's going to do this, mom has to feel good. So
what would be your advice to our audience? Someone tomorrow wants to wake up. What are like simple steps to just start dipping your toe in mindfulness tomorrow morning? Okay.
So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, there's my invitation. Instead of jumping out of bed, you can open up your eyes if you wish. So, for fear that you might fall asleep, back asleep is a real deal. But you can open up your eyes and you can have just a moment of, I slept for however many hours you did. My body got some rest. Look at this. The sun came out again today, or light is actually happening out there. Nature is intact. I'm alive and I'm breathing. Just a little list of here's where I am right now. This is me. I'm getting up this morning, and that's a present moment. Throw it sprinkled with a little bit of appreciation. Really, the 5 takeaways, and I jotted them down right here because they're all about less about doing and more about being, because we are human beings, not human doings, but we don't know that because we haven't changed the culture completely yet. So the first thing is to be curious. Invite yourself, deliberately and consistently to pay attention to what's going on right now, more and more moments of your day. So be curious about what you're doing, not just about the world, but about you and your place in it. Be kind. And when I say that, I mean start with yourself. When you look in the mirror, when you're brushing your teeth tomorrow morning, after you've laid there for a few minutes, try to suspend any kind of talk that is not kind to yourself. So be kind. And when you go out in the world, be kind to other people. Everybody's going through what we're going through right now. Everybody. So be kind. You don't know their situation. Be curious, be kind, be patient. Be patient. We don't, what are we trying to do? Become mindful. we can be mindful immediately, but be patient with yourself and your own progress in your own time, and take some of the urgency, if you can, out of the equation of your life. What's your hurry? We're eternal. Well, that's my belief anyway. And it does take time to establish new habits. So be patient. Be curious, be kind, be patient, be an example. Be an example. You can't just say to your kids, can you just be still and can you be present, please? And then while you're hanging on your phone.
Oh, and you're yelling at them. And you're yelling.
And so be an example. Model what you would like to see in the world, right? Buddha said that better than I just did.
And that's also a good recommendation for your spouse or your partner, your business partner, whatever relationship you're in,
Yes.
to literally try to be the example and see what happens. Because when we do that, you do see a shift.
Yes. And then last but not least, be consistent. The path of mindful living, like I said before, is complete with all these exit ramps, distractions, going back to old patterns. And it's okay. Just take in the kindness thing again, be forgiving, and just come back over and over and over again. If there's a goal, the goal is to learn how to skillfully choose your response in any given moment, as opposed to unskillfully reacting with a full-blown nervous system fight or flight. Take a step back and choose skillfully. That's what mindfulness does for you. It creates that opportunity for you to observe, even yourself.
Yes. And mindfulness is free.
We love that.
Mindfulness is fun.
And it's fun. You can tap into it anytime.
So many places to go to learn. One of the places to take MBSR, which I would highly recommend, is Brown University online. That has some of the very people that I was certified with or through or from way back when, whatever it was, 15, whatever it was years ago. I don't have a handle on that. But they are now from the UMass Medical Center for Mindfulness, they are now at Brown. So Brown University Online has all the mindfulness training available. And again, my website, mindyourmoments.com. And if you would, on Wednesday mornings, it's free and fun.
Yes.
Cassie does a 1.5 hour, and I did it this morning from 8 o'clock to 8:30 a.m. PST, Pacific time, mindfulness group. And it's like the people show up, different people show up each week. And if you're interested in being on the list to remind you and give you that Zoom link, we just do a little practice. We do a little talk, boom, you're gone and you're out the door or wherever you go to your day. And that is Cassie at thealternatepath.com.
And we'll make sure that we'll put all these links on our website as well and on our socials so that people can know how to tap into the resources and tap into you, especially. I forgot about the Wednesdays.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
I forgot.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes if I'm grandmaing or something and I can't do it, I always send out on Monday a thing that says, we're on, or I can't do it this week, but there's a lovely group of people. Most of them care. Some you might recognize because they're some former students. There could be 5 people. There could be 25. Whoever knows. But I'm usually there, and we do a little, hump day practice.
I was going to say hump day. Get you over the hump. Mindfulness. And I do want to just add too, for anyone who is listening and still like on the fence, mindfulness is becoming mainstream. And when I say that, there are certifications that are happening for the workplace and businesses and big corporations are buying into the fact that we need this and we need it to be more efficient and we need to work at our best potential. And just to be the whole concept of corporate healthiness is really coming into play. So
I hope more and more corporations do it. I was at Apple and did mindfulness training for 5 years. I was at Yahoo. I was at LinkedIn. It was lovely. I had to let that all go. I hope that there are people that are getting certified in the workplace and getting in there because it is so necessary.
I think it's very important that people realize that big corporations, right, know how important this is. Right. So you know how much money they spend to make sure that everything is balanced and efficient for different reasons. You deserve the same for your personal health and your body and your nervous system.
Yes. And we've only scratched the surface. So let's have lots more of these.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Now, Cassie, I do have a very important question.
Yes.
So Jennie and I are actually going to be meeting Kara in Las Vegas next month.
It's Jennie's
is there
50th birthday.
Is there a meditation that we could do while we're there?
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's called sound meditation, because you won't find yourself in too many silent places. And
Yeah, right.
I'm really serious about this. Listening meditation is one of the things we teach.
Yep.
And it's where you can be in the midst of, here's what I picture right now. The three of you have these dark sunglasses on. You're actually sitting in a casino.
In a casino, ching, ching, ching,
Yeah,
ching.
yeah. You're listening. You're not playing yet. You're listening. But what you do is you close your eyes and you just listen and you take in the audio of what is in the present moment. You're not judging it. You're not trying to change it. You're simply letting it flow through so that you can more and more understand that that's how life works. Everything flows through the present moment, through your eyes and your ears and what you can feel. So listening meditation in Vegas, and red 3 is where I want you to put my money.
Right there. Okay. You got it. You got it. We will do that.
You guys all heard it here. Yeah.
No, but I never gamble, actually. I'm just kidding.
But you can even be mindful when in a casino is the point. You can, yeah.
You're celebrating what birthday?
Jennie's celebrating 50.
I'll be 50 in June.
Oh, and
Yeah.
beautiful 50 you are, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe you don't want everybody to know this. I was going to ask you what your birthday is so I can think about you on that day.
It's June 21st.
June 21st. Okay.
Mhm.
I will
Yep.
think about you prior to June 24th when I go in for my hip surgery.
We will think about you on June 24th and send you all
Yes.
positive energy.
Yes.
Okay, I think my favorite part is that we all know now we can meditate in Las Vegas, or I shouldn't say meditate. We can be mindful. That was my mistake, right? We can have mindful moments in Vegas, which is literally just listening to our surroundings,
Yes.
which we're going to do, by the way, right? We're going to do it. We're going to post
We're gonna
it
do
up
it.
on our socials. We're 100% going to do it.
Yes.
Well, I cannot tell you how thrilled I am and honored that you asked me to join you today. Kara, when I saw your name on the email that came up, I smiled because I remembered you and I remembered your smile.
Aw, thank you.
Brian, if you're listening, a hug is coming from me to you.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Cassie.
Yes,
This has been
thank you.
amazing.
thank you, Cassie.
Okay, we're going to stop this part of our talk around mindfulness here and join us next week when we continue it. Because that's not it, right? We're not done.
I'm so excited. We get more.
You get more. We are definitely not done. And Cassie, we cannot wait to have you back with us for part 2. And we're really excited for all of us to actually get a chance to practice mindfulness with Cassie. And that's what we're going to do next week.
I'm excited.
Remember, mindfulness isn't about clearing all the thoughts out of our brain so we have a blank slate. It's about being aware of thoughts as they arise and not having judgment around them. So if you want to learn more about how you can be mindful in your everyday life and just be more present, go check out our website at ogross.com.
And make sure that you are being mindful and following us wherever you get your podcasts.
And while you're mindfully scrolling, hit us up on socials at It's Oh Gross.
Oh, gross. That drama's about to end, 'cause gross. Stop asking for a friend, taboos. Icky's what we do. Psoriasis, podiatrist, and pinworms too. It's so gross. No need for strife, because gross. Life is part of life, it's just science. Yeah, it's not so weird. We got the facts, nothing to fear. Oh, gross. It's just science, no, it's not weird. It's just science, nothing to fear. It's just science, so wipe those tears. It's boogers and rash and that sticky scratch. Oh, gross. That drama's about to end, 'cause